Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're taking a special look at the most shocking, debated, and eyebrow-raising moments in music history. And we're starting with songs that didn't just top the charts, they stirred up plenty of controversy.
Y'all just got a snapshot of how Americans really feel. We gave the people a voice.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 most controversial songs ever.
The boy must have been pretty messed up before he ever heard an Aussie record. And I can't help that, you know.
For this list, we'll be looking at infamous tracks that attracted negative attention or public outcry at the time of their release. Did we leave any out? Number 10, Blurred Lines. Robin Thicke featuring T.I. and Pharrell Williams. This single from Robin Thicke was controversial right from the jump thanks to a scandalous music video. An uncensored version was once removed from YouTube because it featured women bearing parts of their bodies. As an added layer of frustration for viewers, the lyrics to Blurred Lines were seen as sexist and misogynistic.
You, a married 37-year-old, just performed a song about coercive sexual advances.
If all that wasn't bad enough, there was controversy behind the actual composition of the song.
I did not go in the studio with the intention of making anything to feel like, to sound like Marvin Gaye.
The estate of Marvin Gaye argued that Blurred Lines shared too many similarities to the soul legend's track, Gotta Give It Up. After Thicke and Williams were hit with a copyright infringement ruling, Gaye was listed as a songwriter for the 2013 single. There was seemingly no aspect of Blurred Lines that didn't attract controversy.
There's no comparison between the minor bluesy chords he was playing and my major bluesy chords, and that's very plain to see for
Major
anyone. Major bluegrassy chords.
Very big difference,
Okay.
boss.
Number 9, Kim, Eminem. Rapper Eminem has a history of releasing hardcore lyrics that turn some heads.
Come on, we're going for a ride, bitch! Sit up front! We can't just leave Haley alone! What if she wakes up?
He certainly held true to that tendency at the turn of the millennium with two very high-profile hits. With Stan, Eminem was criticized for lyrics that seemed to be anti-gay.
I hope you get this, man. Hit me back, just a chat. Truly yours, your biggest fan. This is Stan.
But the bigger controversy came with Kim. During this track, Eminem expressed his dark feelings about his wife with graphic lyrics that end with him taking her life.
Don't make me wake this baby. She don't need to see what I'm about to do. Quit crying, bitch. Why you always make me shout at you?
It's the grim nature and violence of Kim that made it shocking then and now. Eminem's committed delivery gradually gains steam and energy until it sounds as if the rapper has fully given himself up to the imaginary scenario. It can be truly chilling to listen to.
No one can hear you. Now shut the up and get what's coming to you.
Number 8, The Pill, Loretta Lynn. The story of Loretta Lynn and her song The Pill came from one of country's most beloved ambassadors. However, the track still stirred up a bit of drama.
You wind me and down me when I was your girl.
After becoming a mother, Lynn's The Pill celebrated the fact that birth control allowed women to choose when they had children. Her openness on the topic was seen as too taboo for certain fans and even a few country music stations.
Yeah, I'm making up for all those years since I've got the pill.
Despite being banned in certain places, The Pill still found success in countries like Canada.
Tonight's too good to be real. Oh, but Daddy, don't you worry none, 'cause Mama's got the pill.
To this day, several organizations and fans praise Lynn for facing backlash to talk honestly about birth control.
I definitely couldn't be doing what I'm doing unless she had broken down those barriers.
Number 7, Get Your Gun, Marilyn Manson. When Marilyn Manson released Get Your Gun, the message of the song was to express his anger against the person who took the life of a pro-choice doctor. While it initially received praise for its lyrics, the song would be seen in a different light. The tragedy that happened at Columbine High School 5 years after the song's release was linked to the song. During the media coverage, Manson's song was blamed for inspiring the violent events that occurred. They were people who believed the track was meant to encourage harm from the beginning.
This is perhaps the sickest group ever promoted by a mainstream record company.
While arguments for and against Get Your Gun rage today, it's still one of Manson's best-known songs.
The president was shooting bombs overseas, yet I'm a bad guy because I've sang some rock and roll songs.
Number 6, Lemon Incest, Serge Gainsbourg and Charlotte Gainsbourg. Serge Gainsbourg was a French singer and songwriter who was immensely popular and influential, and never far away from controversy. The single named after a fruit was a late-period hit in his career. This duet with his daughter Charlotte practically dared audiences to listen to it without cringing. Throughout the song, the songwriter riffed on the phrase lemon zest with a song and video that was, well, anything but innocuous. His daughter's breathy delivery of the lyrics was enough to shock people. But the accompanying video was seen as pushing the envelope way too far. Today, a song and video combination like this would likely buckle under the weight of massive scrutiny. Number 5, Strange Fruit, Billie Holiday. There are certain moments in history that just remain captivating in just how brave they are in their defiance. Strange Fruit was a fiery denouncement of injustice that made people pay attention to the racially motivated violence perpetrated against Thomas Shipp and Abram Smith.
Southern trees bear a strange fruit.
Written by Abel Meeropol, the lyrics describe the incident in graphic detail. The tragedy of the story is sung with heartbreaking beauty by Billie Holiday. This haunting combination courted controversy right from the get-go.
The bulging eyes and the twisted mouth.
Since Holiday's label was wary about her recording it, she had to get a brief reprieve from her contract to record it elsewhere. Holiday closed a number of sets with this powerful and stirring protest song.
For the sun to right, for the trees to drop.
Number 4, Suicide Solution, Ozzy Osbourne. On its own, it's easy to see why the dark subject matter of this Ozzy Osbourne song would attract controversy. Although it was meant to reference a musician, the track became tied to a different tragedy. The parents of John Daniel McCollum claimed the song pushed him to take his own life 4 years after the song was released.
No one can explain it. The only thing we know is he was listening to this music.
This grieving couple even took Osbourne to court for damages over the song.
I feel very sad for the boy, and I feel terribly sad for the parents, because as a parent myself, I'd be pretty devastated.
But the court ultimately ruled that there wasn't enough evidence to support their claim. Over the years, it's likely that this Osbourne track will continue to court controversy anytime it's played.
Liquid, like solution as a liquid, not a way out.
Number 3, Darling Nikki, Prince. Hey, do you remember those parental advisory stickers that were affixed to the covers of basically every cool CD you owned? It turns out that Prince had a little something to do with that.
I knew a girl named Nikki, I guess you could say she was a sex fiend.
His Darling Nikki song described more than a few explicit and mature acts performed by the subject of the title. When Tipper Gore found one of her children listening to Darling Nikki, she decided to take action.
Woke up the next morning, Nikki wasn't there.
She helped found the Parents Music Resource Center, an organization that helped identify particularly mature albums with infamous black stickers.
She took me to her castle and I just couldn't believe my eyes.
This group also made sure to place Darling Nikki on their Filthy 15 list of songs. It's safe to say this Prince track wasn't played often at many early PRMC meetings. Number 2. F the Police, NWA. NWA's raw and realistic approach to music stood in strict contrast to the more lighthearted and party-focused rap music of their era.
As I leave, believe I'm starving, but when I come back, boy, I'm coming straight out of Compton.
This particular song about officers was their most blatant and boldest call to arms.
Police coming straight from the underground. And you got it bad 'cause I'm brown.
Throughout the track, lyrics protesting against racial profiling and police violence were passionate and angry as anything hitting the radio waves at the time. The unapologetic song caused the FBI to reach out to the group with their concerns.
Put in my clip, yo, and this is the sound. Yeah, something like that.
And over the years, the track has faced bans and even led to some arrests. It's the song's brutal honesty and its defiance that helped make NWA pioneers and legends.
Searching my car, looking for the product, thinking that is selling narcotics.
Number 1. Cop Killer, Body Count. How does an artist know that they've truly stirred the political pot with one of their songs? Well, how about when the President of the United States weighs in?
Cop Killer!
All eyes seem to be on Ice-T and Body Count back in 1992. Their song had everyone from George H.W. Bush to actor Charlton Heston out in force to express their anger and resentment over the lyrics.
I got my 12-gauge sawed off. I got my headlights turned off. I'm about to bust some shots off. I'm about to dust some cops off.
Police unions fumed, stores pulled the album from shelves, and the song was voluntarily removed from subsequent pressings of the band's debut. The replacement track, however, said all the band needed to say in response: freedom of speech.
Can't you see, you alcoholic idiots? The more you try to suppress us, the larger we get.
Parental advisory.
Our next list is going to look at controversial music videos that shocked, offended, and changed pop culture forever, for better or worse.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 most controversial music videos. For this list, we'll be looking at the most notable music videos that caused the greatest stir or generated the most heated conversations when they were released. Which of these shocks you the most? Number 20, Anaconda, Nicki Minaj. If you've seen this video, then you know that this song isn't about snakes. On Anaconda, Nicki Minaj samples Sir Mix-a-Lot's Baby Got Back, focusing on the song's butt-positive messaging, so the video isn't shy about centering matters of the derriere, with classic raunchy Minaj lines thrown in the mix. Both the song and its visual accompaniment are proudly explicit, which was something certain people took issue with.
What's the shootouts with the lure, but he lived in a palace. Both bought me Alexander McQueen, he was keeping me stylish.
When speaking to GQ about the video, Minaj said she was being, quote, cheeky. She didn't seem to be making a pun, but we honestly can't think of a better word to describe this video. Number 19, I Want to Break Free, Queen. One of the best things about Queen is how unafraid they are of expressing themselves. However, not everyone likes how they do that. This video finds the group spoofing the British soap Coronation Street in drag, complete with Freddie Mercury in a fabulous black wig and pink top.
I want to break free from your lies, you're so self-satisfied, I don't need you.
But if you were tuning into MTV in the 80s, you probably missed it. The network reportedly didn't play the video due to its content, and Queen's drummer Roger Taylor referred to them as being, quote, narrow-minded. Guitarist Brian May further hypothesized that the band's reach in America was hurt by this censorship. No matter what network executives say, Queen remain absolute kings. Number 18, Window Seat, Erykah Badu. Filming a music video in the nude is brave. Doing so in public without permission, well, that's Erykah Badu. The R&B star drew a lot of headlines for wearing nothing when the Window Seat video premiered.
Concentrating on my music lover and my babies.
Shot around Dallas's Dealey Plaza, where President John F. Kennedy was shot, the video finds Badu removing her layers until, well, you know. It also ends in a truly dramatic and controversial fashion. How did Badu get away with this? Well, she didn't. She was charged with a misdemeanor, with her penalty being a $500 fine and 6 months probation. We don't recommend recreating this video, even if you can afford it. Number 17, Elastic Heart, Sia. Everyone is largely clothed in this one, but you might think otherwise at first glance. The Elastic Heart video stars Shia LaBeouf and Maddie Ziegler fighting and dancing inside a cage. While LaBeouf is shirtless, the duo are indeed wearing nude-colored garments. But that doesn't mean it was well received. Ziegler was about 12 at the time, and some questioned her involvement in such a suggestive project, especially considering her co-star was an adult. Sia responded to the controversy on Twitter, apologizing for any offense and explaining her intentions. It wouldn't be the last time the singer's work caused a stir, but it remains one of the most notable. Number 16, Pussy, Rammstein. When we say this clip is explicit, we don't mean the way most music videos are. German metal group Rammstein made a visual work that starts off suggestive and ends up being absolutely shocking.
Too big, too small, size does matter after all.
Let's just say you're not going to be able to watch the uncensored version on YouTube. A man in Russia was even charged with and convicted of a crime after he shared the piece, which guitarist Richard Kruspa reportedly spoke out against. If you must watch the uncut edition of this video, we have one bit of advice. Make sure you do it in private. Number 15, Hello Kitty, Avril Lavigne. In recent years, artists seem to have become more cautious about making music videos centered around different cultures. However, Avril Lavigne hadn't gotten the message in 2014. Hello Kitty and its video were both widely criticized, with many accusing the singer of cultural appropriation. The electronic song is inspired by J-pop, and the video sees Lavigne performing with Japanese backing dancers and enjoying sushi, among other things. Some found its depiction of Japanese culture to be stereotypical, and the singer defended the video against accusations of racism. While it reportedly garnered little controversy in Japan, it did create some important, if divisive, conversations. Number 14, Heart-Shaped Box, Nirvana. Kurt Cobain wasn't the only person with a new complaint. The video for Heart-Shaped Box may shock, baffle, and offend you. It opens with the band in a hospital room, and then goes in a very strange direction. How strange? Well, there's notably a man in a Santa hat on a crucifix, and the weirdness does not stop there. The group members were such visionaries that this video feels like it's about more than mere shock value. Still, it's not exactly the Nirvana music video you want to show your pastor, or your grandma for that matter. Number 13, Warlock, Skinny Puppy. The video for this song by industrial group Skinny Puppy is full of clips from movies. However, it's not exactly an ode to classic Hollywood pictures. Instead, the Canadian band takes footage from graphic and unsettling films like Suspiria, Eraserhead, and Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. Even if you know the context of these clips, it doesn't take away from how shocking they are. And if you haven't seen them, well, this video doesn't exactly give you an easy introduction. This is one night at the movies you won't be forgetting anytime soon. Number 12, WAP, Cardi B featuring Megan Thee Stallion. The song and video that everyone was talking about in 2020 was WAP. The name's not safe for work meaning will give you a good indication as to why.
Wet and gushy, make that pull-out game weak.
The sexually charged team-up of rap superstars Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion was praised for its unapologetically raunchy lyrics, but it was scorned for the same reason. The response to the video, where both Cardi and Megan show off their physical attributes and their rapping skills, followed suit.
Tell them where to put it, never tell them where I'm about to be. I'll run down on them before I have a running me. Talk your style.
It also garnered additional controversy due to the Kylie Jenner cameo and because of a spat between Cardi and Carole Baskin over the inclusion of big cats. WAP could also stand for What a Phenomenon. Number 11, Closer, 9 Inch Nails. Do you want to watch a music video that makes you feel like you're experiencing a waking nightmare? Put this one on and see if you can make it to the end. While Closer was already an intense song, the video goes even further with images of animal violence, twisted religious imagery, and sexual paraphernalia. 9 Inch Nails' Trent Reznor is there too, leather pants and all. While this video was played on MTV, it was in modified form. But even the clean version is still pretty shocking. That's probably why it helped bring 9 Inch Nails closer to achieving legend status. Number 10, Famous, Kanye West. Kanye West and drama go hand in hand, but this song and video caused major controversy, even for him. First, there's the crass lyric about Taylor Swift, which spurred its own mess.
I don't blame you much for wanting to be free. I just wanted you to know.
Then there's the video, which shows West in bed with an array of nude figures of famous people. These include then-wife Kim Kardashian, ex Amber Rose, Presidents George W. Bush and Donald Trump, and Swift. But viewers just weren't all that enamored with it.
No matter how hard they try, we never gonna die.
The huge number of dislikes on YouTube said it all, though it still managed to score multiple award nominations. If there's one thing we can say about Kanye West, it's that he knows how to draw attention to himself. Number 9, All the Things She Said, Tattoo. You might see this video from Russian pop duo Tattoo as being a bold stand against heteronormativity in popular music. Or you might just see it as being a tacky video that relies on cheap gimmicks like straight girls kissing and Catholic school attire.
I'm serious, I feel totally lost. If I'm asking for help, it's only because.
Either way, there's no doubt that this rain-soaked work is one that got everyone talking, making Tattoo international stars for a moment. Today, this video may not seem all that remarkable, but if you were around in the early 2000s, you likely remember just how much heated talk it generated. Number 8, Saint, Marilyn Manson. Before disturbing allegations about his private life came to light, Marilyn Manson was known for shocking people through his music, and the video for this song is arguably the most extreme example of how he did so. It's so grim and unsettling that his label, Interscope, didn't want any part of it. The video was subsequently made available on the band's Lest We Forget the Best Of DVD. No matter how disturbed you were by Manson previously, this video will undoubtedly manage to take those feelings and make them even stronger. Number 7, Blurred Lines, Robin Thicke featuring T.I. and Pharrell Williams. Blurred Lines garnered plenty of controversy for its lyrics, which were often said to minimize the importance of consent. And the problematic music video only made things worse. The unrated version features Thicke and male collaborators T.I. and Pharrell Williams dressed stylishly, but they're surrounded by female models like Emily Ratajkowski who are wearing, well, not much at all. It was widely viewed as misogynistic and objectifying, and Ratajkowski later called it, quote, the bane of her existence. In 2021, she revealed that Thicke groped her without her consent on set, which reignited the conversation. Blurred Lines was everywhere in 2013, but it was by no means universally beloved. Number 6, Stan, Eminem featuring Dido. These days, the term stan is used rather liberally to describe an intense fandom. However, the song that originated the term is about an obsession so intense it becomes fatal.
Anyways, I hope you get this, man. Hit me back, just a chat. Truly yours, your biggest fan. This is Stan.
The video for Stand follows the track's lyrics, as a die-hard Eminem fan's fixation causes him to harm himself and his loved ones. Many of the visuals are too disturbing to even think about. In fact, some of the more harrowing lyrics and imagery in the song and video were censored.
I'm glad I inspired you, but Stan, why are you so mad? Try to understand that I do want you as a fan.
Yet even with the various edits, it's still devastating to see the story play out. Whether you stan this video or not, you likely are not left indifferent by it. Number 5. Lemon Incest, Serge and Charlotte Gainsbourg. Does this song's title make you feel icky? How about lyrics sung by a young woman that aren't age appropriate, and a video that features her and her father in a rather scandalous arrangement? It's safe to say that the visuals are unsettling in more ways than one. It's hard to give the benefit of the doubt to a video like this, especially with the song in question. Yet this song still managed to become a big hit in the Gainsbourg's home country of France. It was already pretty clear that controversy sells, but this video makes that truth all the more uncomfortably apparent. Number 4. Born Free, MIA. As if redheads didn't already have it hard enough, they became the targets in MIA's shocking video. A 9-minute short disguised as a music video, Born Free depicts red-headed individuals being rounded up and knocked off. The violence is disturbing, but it's meant to serve an important point, showing how such large-scale targeted killings can occur anywhere. The real-world parallels certainly weren't lost on people. However, some found the video to be more over-the-top than insightful. And a bit less than a day after its premiere, YouTube pulled it. If there's one thing the video's fans and critics can agree on, is that it's garnered plenty of controversy. Number 3. Montero, Call Me By Your Name, Lil Nas X. Did you think that the satanic panic ended in the 90s? Well, the Call Me By Your Name video proved otherwise. This super viral visual work finds Lil Nas X trading in his cowboy hat for devil horns, and people noticed.
I caught it bad just today. You hit me with a call to your place.
The video courted plenty of discussion for its outspoken depiction of queer sexuality, as well as provocative moments like that Satan lap dance. Much of the feedback was overwhelmingly positive, but many conservative figures were shocked by it and by the artist's selling of blood-tipped Satan shoes. And they essentially accused him of corrupting the youth. One thing's for sure, Lil Nas X is blazing his own trail with such boundary-pushing works. Number 2. Smack My Bitch Up, The Prodigy. Many dance artists make music videos that are stylish and seductive, but this one, from UK big beat group The Prodigy, is grungy and disturbing. Featuring a unique use of perspective, the video lets us see through the eyes of the main character, who does some truly bad things. And we get a bit of a surprise ending too. Like the song, the video was seen as hugely problematic, and was condemned by the National Organization for Women. As for MTV, they eventually went from limiting its airing to late-night showings to banning it completely. If any video deserves a "don't try this at home" warning, it's this one. Number 1. Like a Prayer, Madonna. While Madonna's extraordinary singing and dance abilities have been key to her success, we can't forget the impact of her music videos. The one for Like a Prayer is the Queen of Pop at her most blasphemous. In it, Madonna hides in a church after seeing a black man wrongfully arrested for murder, praying to a Christ-like statue that bears his likeness. Images of burning crosses and her romantic embrace with the holy figure notably sparked major outcry. The visual work was even called out by the Vatican. Not many music videos have generated controversy on this level, which is just one of the many reasons why Madonna will always be an icon.
Albums can define a musician's legacy, but they can also ignite a firestorm of controversy along the way. Here now are the most controversial music albums.
Songs allow a person to put their own imagination, experiences, and dreams into the lyrics. People can interpret it many ways.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 most controversial albums.
If they don't want to hear the 2 Live Crew, then they don't buy no ticket. They won't be at that concert.
They like obscure images because it gives kids something to hold on to that their parents won't understand.
So, if I said to somebody, hey, your stairway lies in the whispering wind, I'd basically be telling them that they're going to hell because the whispering wind was the Piper's Path.
For this list, we'll be ranking the biggest albums that made headlines and ruffled feathers at the time of their release, and perhaps still do today. We'll be saving the albums that were controversial because of their cover art for another day. Also, we'll be discussing some sensitive content, so fair warning for the road ahead. Did any of these shock you? Number 20, Rain in Blood, Slayer. Heavy metal has always been a genre that's ripe for controversy, but toss in the legendary intensity of thrash metal icon Slayer into the mix, well, that's a perfect storm for concerned parents. Slayer was always faster and heavier than their contemporaries, but their definitive musical statement, Rain in Blood, was also notable for its more earthbound lyrics. Songs about damsels and dragons were now replaced with demons, pain, suffering, and the very real horrors of war. Specifically, lyrics for the song Angel of Death tackled infamous Nazi doctor Joseph Mengele. It was instant notoriety for a band already used to shocking nearly everyone that crossed their path. Number 19, Beggar's Banquet, The Rolling Stones. The Man Downstairs was all the rage during the late 1960s and into the 1970s, thanks to Time magazine articles like Is God Dead and the rise of demonic horror movies like Rosemary's Baby and The Exorcist. The Rolling Stones had their finger on the pulse of this controversy and courted it with the opening track on their 1968 album, Beggar's Banquet.
Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm a man of a well and taste.
The song was Sympathy for the Devil, sung from Satan's own personal point of view, as a distinguished man of wealth and taste. This wasn't the only bit of controversy either. The band was forced to initially scrap their idea of having a rundown toilet and graffiti on the cover, as it was considered too obscene. Number 18, In Utero, Nirvana. There were both internal and external controversies behind the recording and release of Nirvana's last studio album, In Utero. For starters, there were conflicts over whether the sound should be closer to the more polished production of Nevermind, or if they should go with Steve Albini's intent to create something different. Then there was the actual album content, with one song title in particular generating controversy, and cover art that led to the album being edited for big chains like Walmart. Said song became Waif Me, and the album's back cover art was changed so that it could be sold on their shelves.
What else should I be? All apologies.
Number 17, Led Zeppelin 4. Led Zeppelin. We honestly don't have enough time to detail all of the bad behavior and tall tales that made Led Zeppelin one of the most controversial bands of their day. However, we will be focusing specifically on the iconic classic rock group's fourth full length.
There's a lady who should. All that glitters is gold.
Call it Zoso, call it Four Symbols, or just Led Zeppelin 4, but the album was deliberately designed to increase the Led Zepp mystique to an almost maddening level.
And the forests will echo with laughter.
The Symbols themselves leaned into the band's reputation as practitioners of the occult, an idea that was compounded by rumors that songs like Stairway to Heaven contained backwards satanic messages.
Raise your hands if you heard that.
Was it deliberate? Probably not, but it helped solidify the Led Zeppelin legend even more as absolutely one of a kind. Number 16, Wasp. Wasp. It may seem silly today to think that theatrical rock music could be the subject of a US Senate hearing, but parents were not messing around when it came to satanic panic and heavy metal during the 1980s.
Some of the album covers are very explicit.
Al Gore's wife, Tipper, even formed a committee titled the Parents Music Resource Center that tried to censor and silence artists ranging from Prince and Twisted Sister to our subject of the entry, Wasp.
And some of these artists are engaged in cultural strip mining. They are selling explicit sex and violence to younger and younger kids.
The band's debut was part of the committee's Filthy 15 thanks to its most infamous song, Animal. And that wasn't the only bit of craziness Wasp brought to the table. The shock rockers were also known for their extremely crude stage shows. They were practically tailor-made for conservative censorship.
Blackie Lawless of the group Wasp have an album out, and it now bears a warning label: explicit lyrics, parental advisory.
Number 15, Lies, Guns N' Roses. Love them or hate them, there's no denying that Guns N' Roses absolutely lived the life about which they sang. They were unequivocally the real deal, a refreshingly dangerous rock and roll party that courted controversy from the very first note.
All these gay activist groups jumped on our case for being involved with this, to the point where there was a question as to whether or not it was even safe for us to do this gig.
Their second album, Lies, also known as GNR Lies, contains lyrics that got W. Axl Rose & Co. in some seriously hot water.
All we need is just a little patience.
1 in a Million was the main offender, as it featured lyrics that got the singer accused of racism and homophobia.
I don't think people took the time to listen to the third verse and figure that one out, because it says radicals and racists don't point your finger at me.
Elsewhere, Used to Love Her got the band labeled as misogynistic, although guitarist Slash has joked that the song was actually about Rose's dog. Number 14, Blizzard of Oz, Ozzy Osbourne. Most of us know all about the bad behavior Ozzy Osbourne has gotten himself into over the years. The man was already a rock icon from his days fronting Black Sabbath, but metal fans were beyond anxious about Oz's first solo album. Blizzard of Oz did not disappoint musically, but it also arrived with its fair share of controversy thanks to one particular track. A young man named John McCollum tragically ended his life in 1984, allegedly after listening to the song.
He didn't appear to have any problems that anyone was aware of.
According to Osbourne, the lyrics were actually about alcoholism.
And the song's about like the dangers of alcoholism, like alcohol will kill you just like any other drug will.
McCollum's parents sued the vocalist and his record label for the song's apparent influence on their son, but the case was dismissed due to Ozzy's First Amendment right to free speech.
The boy must have been pretty messed up before he ever heard an Ozzy record. And I mean, I can't help that, you know. I feel very sad for the boy.
Number 13, Die Mysterious Dom Satanas, Mayhem. When does extreme metal become too extreme? This question and more were asked by fans, bands, and media outlets alike when Norwegian black metal stormed out of the underground during the early 90s.
But everything leads back to our main agenda. It's spreading the word of Satan.
The genre saw real-life murder and arson committed by its participants, including those of this entry's band, Mayhem. There were infamous internal conflicts within Mayhem, which led to its founder, Øystein Euronymous Arshett, being killed by his bassist, Varg Vikernes. Die Mysterious Dom Satanas is certainly a musical cornerstone for the genre, but a request by Orshett's parents for Mayhem's new bassist, Necro Butcher, to remove Vikernes' bass tracks was ignored, and the album remains a chilling reminder of these events. Number 12, Frankenchrist, Dead Kennedys. We've mentioned our criteria for albums being censored for controversial album art, but what about a controversial insert? The political punk rock legends Dead Kennedys, and specifically frontman Jello Biafra, were the victims of censorship over the inclusion of a poster featuring a work by surrealist art icon R.H. Geiger. A poster reproduction of Landscape XX was deemed obscene, and Biafra was charged with distributing, quote, harmful matter to minors.
I'm just doing my job, you know, so say uncle and we'll take you to the mental health zoo.
Biafra discussed the ordeal on his spoken word album, High Priest of Harmful Matter, particularly how police raided his apartment and the financial strain it brought upon the band's record label. Number 11, Like a Virgin, Madonna. There have been a bevy of influential artists out there, but very few can claim to have single-handedly steered the fashion sense of teenage girls around the world. Madonna did just that in the wake of her sophomore album Like a Virgin in 1984. The album's major singles, which included Material Girl, Dress You Up, and the title track, were all smash hits, but didn't land without some controversy thanks to Madonna's racy image and sexualized live performances. News outlets across the globe all clamored for footage of the Material Girl arriving on stage, decked out in lace and embarking upon her career as a certified pop sensation. She wouldn't stop there, of course, continually courting controversies with follow-ups like a Prayer and Erotica. Number 10, As Nasty as They Wanna Be, 2 Live Crew. We've discussed a lot of hard rock and heavy metal throughout our list, but hip-hop has also seen its fair share of run-ins with the censors.
Knocked on the door, not having no idea of what the night had in store.
Case in point, 2 Live Crew, who seemed to love inciting anger with their 1989 LP, As Nasty as They Wanna Be. It pulled no punches with its references to sexuality, especially in its breakthrough hit, Me So Horny.
Having appetite for sex, cause me so horny.
Is the album crass? Sure, but 2 Live Crew deserved to sing their songs the way they wanted to sing them, and they found roadblocks in their way at nearly every turn.
These people who essentially say that they're holding a mirror up to the street and reflecting the street in music as an art form. And the street is a nasty place at times.
The album was even labeled legally obscene by a Florida judge, and 3 members of the band would later be arrested just for performing a show.
We have the freedom of expression. We have the freedom of choice.
Number 9, Stained Class, Judas Priest. The story behind Judas Priest's 4th album, Stained Class, is one mired in controversy, thanks to a lawsuit brought against the band by the families of 2 teenagers who decided to take their own lives, allegedly after listening to Better By You, Better Than Me. The boys' families claimed that the band inserted subliminal messages which said "do it" behind frontman Rob Halford's vocal in the song, despite the fact that the song was in fact a cover of the band Spooky Tooth rather than a Judas Priest original. Still, the trial remains a tragic and truly controversial moment in hard rock history. Number 8, Tomb of the Mutilated, Cannibal Corpse. Whew, where do we start? Maybe with the graphic, oft-censored cover art displaying 2 rotting corpses engaging in a sex act? Or maybe the fact that Cannibal Corpse was forbidden from performing tracks from their first 3 albums in countries like Germany. Then, of course, there's the band's appearance in Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. Wait, what?
Excuse me, it's Greg here. Thank you!
Jim Carrey's death metal fixation aside, the controversy behind Cannibal Corpse's 3rd studio album continues to this day, and if you don't believe us, just take a look at the track listing. Number 7, the Marshall Mathers LP, Eminem. By the turn of the new millennium, Eminem was no stranger to controversy, thanks to the unflinching realism presented on the Slim Shady LP in 1999. That backlash only increased when Eminem released the substantially darker and even more personal The Marshall Mathers LP, an album chock full of adult themes and extreme lyrical barbs, which made its predecessor sound positively lightweight.
And I am whatever you say I am. If I wasn't, then why would I say I am?
An easy target for conservative politicians and parents alike, the Marshall Mathers LP shook up the entertainment world and essentially changed music censorship forever.
I love you, Slim. We could have been together. Think about it. You ruined it now. I hope you can't sleep and you dream about it.
Number 6, Fear of a Black Planet, Public Enemy. Hip-hop legends Public Enemy have always been considered some of the genre's most intelligent and politically active artists, but it was this very socially aware release which also made them the targets of controversy.
911 is joking your town. Get up again, get down.
Classics like 911 is a Joke, Burn Hollywood Burn, and Fight the Power were all huge hits. But the band's profile hit hard times when founding member Professor Griff began spouting anti-Semitic rhetoric during interviews. Griff's comments would lead to his eventual dismissal from the group, although Public Enemy's stance as one of hip-hop's elder statesmen would remain secure.
There's nothing that the black makers use to burn Hollywood, burn.
Number 5. Never mind the bollocks, here's the Sex Pistols. Sex Pistols. Seeing Johnny Rotten today, it might be hard to imagine the powder keg of fury unleashed by the Sex Pistols back in 1977, but at one point it seemed as if everyone was pissed at these British punks. Whether it was the band's entourage habitually sporting Nazi regalia, or the fact that God Save the Queen took aim squarely at England's Elizabeth II, the Pistols were never far from public ire. Frontman Johnny Rotten and crew would also be in a memorably tense television debut, where the band cussed out their host on live TV before eventually imploding in a blaze of self-destructive glory, so fitting to their punk rock roots. Number 4. Mechanical Animals, Marilyn Manson. There have been few hard rock and heavy metal artists that capture the public spotlight quite like Marilyn Manson. Albums like Portrait of an American Family and Antichrist Superstar had already put the band in cultural crosshairs, so when it came time to release Mechanical Animals, detractors were on high alert. The studio effort's artwork is striking in and of itself, but when people started to make connections between the album and the tragic events at Columbine in 1999, the band really came under fire. It wasn't the first controversy Manson faced, and it certainly would not be the last, as he turned himself into the police for 2 counts of assault in 2021. Number 3. Body count. Body count. In the early 90s, it was hard not to be aware of the controversy surrounding Body Count. The album raised ire and criticism almost immediately due to its aggressive lyrical content. But it was Body Count's closing track that caused the biggest media sensation. The song's confrontational stance on police violence was directly challenged in the media by actor and NRA spokesman Charlton Heston, with many others joining in the call for the album's censorship. Body Count's label would eventually reissue the album without the offending track, ironically replacing it with Freedom of Speech, a collaboration between Ice-T and Jello Biafra. Number 2. Rage Against the Machine. Rage Against the Machine. The musical landscape of 1991 was a period of transition for hard rock and heavy metal, and this band stood out as representatives of change throughout the decade. Rage Against the Machine stood in strict defiance to both the hair metal excesses of the 1980s, as well as the emerging grunge movement of the time, and were steeped in political fire and fury.
No escape from the mass mind rape. Play it to Kid Jack and then rewind the tape.
This sentiment, born from the protests of the 1960s and 1970s, would serve as a source of controversy for the rap metal band, as frontman Zach De La Rocha's pointed commentaries about world injustice and corruption would go on to define the band's enduring creative legacy.
My thoughts are here and you begin to fear that your crop will get pulled if you interfere.
Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions. The Fat of the Land, The Prodigy, Late Night Video Controversy. Shake Your Booty, Frank Zappa, banned from airplay in the US.
My shirt's half open just to show you my chain and the spoon for up my nose.
The Downward Spiral, 9 Inch Nails, BDSM during Total Request Live. The Number of the Beast, Iron Maiden. Fantasy turned into satanic panic for parents. Number 1. Straight Outta Compton, NWA. The impact of NWA is impossible to overstate. The hip-hop landscape was very much a different place in 1988 before the group made their debut with Straight Outta Compton.
What's up? Tell them where you're from. Straight Outta Compton.
The group were one of the progenitors of the gangster rap genre and gained sufficient controversy over the album's raw and frank lyrical content, which stood in strict contrast to the dance and party vibe associated with many rap acts of the time.
Though some musicians cuss at home, they're scared to use profanity when up on the microphone.
Instead, Straight Outta Compton described a hard and violent life surrounded by drugs, gangs, and police misbehavior, laying the groundwork for countless hip-hop acts in its wake.
Cause the police always got something stupid to say. They put out my picture with silence. Cause my identity by itself causes violence.
We're going to end things today by looking at 20 music scandals that shocked fans and shook the industry to its core.
He was nervous and looked drawn as he posed for the cameras.
Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today we'll be looking at the most infamous, scandalous, or otherwise shocking situations that occurred within the music industry and had significant repercussions for the artists and other parties involved.
I went to his trial because I was a super fan at the time.
Taylor Swift Masters Dispute. In 2019, music mogul Scooter Braun purchased Big Machine, Taylor Swift's former record label, for a whopping $300 million. This deal granted Braun the rights to the master recordings of Swift's first 6 albums.
When the news broke, Taylor posted a long letter on Tumblr, calling the Scooter Braun acquisition her worst-case scenario.
The singer publicly expressed her frustration with the acquisition, stating that she had attempted to buy her masters but found the label's terms unfavorable. The controversy split the music industry and ignited a broader conversation about artists' rights. Following a suggestion by Kelly Clarkson, Swift decided to re-record all 6 albums, so as to own the masters of the new versions.
And so I just figured I was the one who made this music first, I can just make it again.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing.
Starting in 2021, she put out the re-recorded albums, featuring several previously unreleased tracks. Dubbed Taylor's Version, these albums received widespread acclaim, contributing to Swift's unparalleled success. Prince changes his name to a symbol. Contractual disputes between music artists and their record labels have sometimes led to artists taking unconventional routes to free themselves. One notable instance involved legendary musician Prince, who in 1993 changed his stage name to an unpronounceable symbol, later known as the love symbol. This move was a protest against his record label, Warner Brothers, which had denied the release of Prince's music backlog and severely restricted his artistic freedom. As a result, the media began referring to him as the artist formerly known as Prince.
So how did the artist formerly known as come about?
Well, that came up through people's problem with, mainly the media's problem with not having a pronunciation for the symbol.
During this period, Prince began releasing albums more frequently as a strategic maneuver to break free of his contract. In 1998, he moved over to Arista Records and reclaimed his original name 2 years later.
Just like I told you, keep the old school joint for the true folk soldiers.
Elvis the Pelvis. On June 5th, 1956, Elvis Presley made an appearance on The Milton Berle Show that would continue to be talked about for decades. It wasn't Presley's first TV appearance, but it certainly was his most controversial.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog.
During a rendition of Hound Dog, the singer slowed things down and began sensually gyrating his pelvis. By today's standards, it's nothing of note. But back in 1956, it caused a huge uproar from the mainstream media and religious groups.
You ain't no friend of mine.
For his provocative hip gyrations, Presley earned the nickname Elvis the Pelvis. A few months later, when he returned on The Ed Sullivan Show, Presley was reportedly filmed only from the waist up, to keep the potentially swiveling pelvis out of sight. Madonna's Like a Prayer music video. Throughout her career, Madonna has consistently faced criticism for her arts, often centered around its provocative themes and imagery.
Life is a mystery.
Perhaps her most controversial moment came with the release of the music video for her 1989 single, Like a Prayer. The clip took an unconventional approach to addressing racism, incorporating religious elements like the stigmata and burning crosses.
Hear your voice. It's like an angel sighing.
The song also appeared in a Pepsi commercial that was seen by approximately 250 million people worldwide. This sparked condemnation from religious groups, leading to a call for a Pepsi boycott. As a result, the company pulled the commercial and terminated its deal with Madonna. Despite the uproar, Like a Prayer became a massive success, topping the charts in several countries. Judas Priest's subliminal message trial. On December 23, 1985, James Vance and Raymond Belknap made a pact to take their own lives with a shotgun.
I think he was affected by the music he was listening to.
While Belknap died instantly, Vance initially survived the self-inflicted wound, but also passed away 3 years later. The families of both men later filed a lawsuit against the heavy metal band Judas Priest, alleging that subliminal messages in their song Better by You, Better Than Me had prompted the tragic acts. The trial unfolded in 1990, during which the band vehemently denied causing intentional harm to their fans. Ultimately, the court ruled in favor of Judas Priest, concluding that the alleged subliminal messages were merely coincidental and not a direct cause of the deaths.
I got the distinct feeling that the judge was thinking, oh dear, these guys are right. I've been led to believe one thing when, like in all things, there are two sides to every story.
Kanye West's anti-Semitic remarks. Kanye West has often found himself in hot water for his controversial views and comments.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
In October 2022, after being locked out of his Instagram account for yet another contentious post, the rapper tweeted an anti-Semitic remark. The tweet sparked a huge backlash, leading to a suspension from the platform. Consequently, West faced several professional repercussions. He was dropped by his talent agency and lost a series of business partnerships with the likes of Adidas and Gap.
The letter says, quote, "We urge Adidas to reconsider supporting the Ye product line and to issue a statement making clear that the Adidas company and community has no tolerance whatsoever for anti-Semitism."
Despite these consequences, West seemed unfazed. A few weeks later, he appeared on the InfoWars show with Alex Jones, where he doubled down on his troubling views. It wasn't until December 2023 that West posted an apology in Hebrew on Instagram, addressing his anti-Semitic remarks.
I'm completely shocked that he's even released an apology.
Led Zeppelin's Mudshark incident. At the peak of their success in the late 1960s and early 70s, English rock band Led Zeppelin gained notoriety for their tales of debauchery while on tour.
When it comes to myths or legends in the history of music, there's one that stands well beyond almost any other.
One incident in particular, which occurred in 1969 at the Edgewater Inn in Seattle, became infamous and further contributed to Led Zeppelin's controversial image. According to various sources, members of the band, particularly drummer John Bonham and manager Richard Cole, engaged in sexual activities with a groupie, which involved a 2-foot-long mud shark.
So the question becomes, where is the truth, if there's any, in this iconic tale of rock and roll bad behavior?
Although some specific details remain unclear due to varying accounts, the incident became a controversial tale in rock history and still persists in the band's legacy. Frank Zappa later immortalized it in his 1971 song, The Mud Shark.
The Mud Shark Dancing Lesson.
The murders of Tupac Shakur and the Notorious B.I.G. The relationship between hip-hop legends Tupac Shakur and the Notorious B.I.G. was a complicated one.
Tupac became obsessed with the idea that Biggie had tried to kill him.
While I'm in jail, strangers is telling me, yo, you don't know? Biggie homeboy shot you.
The two were initially close friends who worked and traveled together. However, things soured following a 1994 shooting involving Tupac, after which they both became embroiled in the heated East Coast versus West Coast hip-hop rivalry.
Now it's all about Versace. You copy my style. 5 shots couldn't drop me. I took it and smelled.
In September 1996, Tupac was gunned down in a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas. 6 months later, Biggie suffered a similar fate, this time in Los Angeles. Speculation quickly arose that both murders were linked and possibly related to the rap feud. Despite extensive investigations, the cases went unsolved without any concrete leads until 2023, when Dwayne Keefe D. Davis was arrested and charged in connection with Tupac's murder.
He's repeatedly proclaimed he played a role in the drive-by shooting of Tupac Shakur nearly 3 decades ago.
Sinead O'Connor rips up picture of the Pope. On October 3rd, 1992, Sinead O'Connor appeared as the musical guest on Saturday Night Live.
Everywhere is war.
During her performance, O'Connor made an unexpected move that would define the rest of her career. She held up a picture of Pope John Paul II and tore it into pieces while urging the audience to
fight the real enemy.
This act was a protest against the Catholic Church's mishandling of sexual misconduct cases involving minors. While undoubtedly a noble cause, the move triggered a huge uproar, leading to O'Connor receiving a lifetime ban from NBC. Once a rising star with great promise, the Irish singer-songwriter's career effectively came to an end. However, in the years since, public perception of her has largely changed.
Yes, it is offensive to people because they've built their lives on this belief, and it is going to be offensive, yes.
2004 Super Bowl halftime show controversy. Super Bowl 38 was an intense game between the Carolina Panthers and the New England Patriots, culminating in the Patriots securing their second title in 3 years. However, most people only remember it for a controversial incident during the halftime show. Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake were performing together when he accidentally exposed her breast on live TV. Termed a wardrobe malfunction, the incident was broadcast to approximately 150 million viewers and had significant repercussions, particularly for Jackson.
Did anybody happen to see the Super Bowl?
Her songs and music videos were blacklisted, and her invitation to the upcoming Grammys was rescinded. Beyond the immediate consequences, the controversy had a lasting impact on media censorship and highlighted the unequal treatment of female artists in the music industry.
A lot of it I did not see, but obviously you couldn't get away from it because it was everywhere.
Payola. The idea of corruption within the music industry is nothing new. It also takes many forms, one of them being payola, a term used to describe the taking of a bribe, financial or otherwise, in exchange for radio airplay.
Payola in our business was a record company or an artist coming in saying, hey, I got a new record coming out, here's $150.
This practice was commonplace between record labels and DJ personalities for decades, until congressional investigations into payola directly impacted such beloved radio hosts as Dick Clark and Alan Freed. The latter was fired as a result of his association with payola.
He believed that rock and roll was the music to come, and he was right. The only problem is that all the payola talk and everything killed him as far as getting anything.
While DJs in general were no longer put in charge of directly influencing or deciding radio programming and which music would be played on air.
For better or for worse, the wild, wild west of radio was over.
The Chicks call out the president. During the early days of the Iraq War, Natalie Maines, singer of the popular country group then known as the Dixie Chicks, took the stage in England and spoke her mind. Maines introduced the band's song Travelin' Soldier with a comment which stated, in part,
We're ashamed the President of the United States is from Texas.
Reaction was swift and harsh for the Chicks after the news of the statement reached the U.S., with some fans calling for a boycott of the band, while others sent Maines threatening letters.
The publicity office had to close down their internet
Sony has to have extra security outside of the building, and I'm just feeling responsible.
The uproar would eventually subside after Maines publicly apologized directly to the president, but the damage done was never really repaired.
If the president's watching tonight,
We hope not, don't we?
want to say something?
Your show's not long enough.
2 Live crew arrested for obscenity. These days, not much, in the music world or otherwise, shocks us, with much of society now desensitized towards sex or violence.
Don't keep thinking that we will quit, we'll always stand and never sit.
This wasn't exactly the case back in the late 80s, however. A prime example being an incident involving the Miami hip-hop group 2 Live Crew. Their 1989 album, As Nasty As They Wanna Be, landed the group in hot water with Florida officials after it was deemed obscene by a U.S. district court.
Record store owners were even arrested for selling the album. Did you expect that kind of response?
No, not really. I mean, it was a shock. It was a shock.
2 Live Crew were arrested after performing the material at a local club and were forced to defend their right for free speech in courts. The ruling was eventually overturned, in the process making As Nasty As They Wanna Be a bona fide smash hit.
Because this is the land of the free, the home of the brave, and 2 Live is what we are.
Milli Vanilli lip sync scandal. The year was 1990, and the German pop group Milli Vanilli were riding high upon a wave of incredible success.
Girl, you know it's true. I love you.
The duo even nabbed a Best New Artist award from the Grammys that year and seemed poised for MTV superstardom. Then, as they say, it all came crashing down. It was revealed that Milli members Rob Pilatus and Fab Morvan hadn't actually sung any of the songs on their record and lip-synced all of their live performances.
Girl, you know it's girl, you know it's girl, you know it's girl, you know it's.
The Grammy was taken away. They were dropped by the record label and sales dried up. Not even an attempted comeback using Rob and Fab's real voices could save Milli Vanilli from becoming one of the decade's most infamous musical casualties.
We felt like we were abandoned by everyone. That's what it felt like, because when the news came out, we were the ones that people were focusing on. The fact of the matter is, there were a lot of people that were involved with the project. So it felt like we felt betrayed by a lot of people.
Norwegian black metal and the murder of Euronymous. It would be easy for the uninitiated to see the Norwegian black metal scene as something straight out of the cinema. Truth is stranger than fiction, however, as evidenced by the case of Euronymous, guitarist for the influential black metal band Mayhem. The musician-born Øystein Arseth was stabbed to death in his Oslo home by Christian Varg Vikernes, a former bandmate.
Varg Vikernes, også kalt Greven, ble sammen med sin 22 år gamle medtiltalte fra Trondheim kjent skyldig i overlagt drap i Eidsivating lagmannsrett i dag.
Rumors flew as to the motives behind the killing, ranging from finances and jealousy to competing against other violent acts performed by other musicians within the black metal scene. Varg would serve nearly 15 years of a 21-year sentence before being paroled in 2009. Chris Brown assault charges. Rihanna and Chris Brown were a popular R&B it couple amongst their respective fans, until one incident changed things forever. Brown turned himself into police in February 2009 on charges that he physically assaulted Rihanna during a verbal altercation. The incident would leave Rihanna with visible injuries to her face and immediately caused a huge backlash against Brown, who, up until that point, had enjoyed sizable chart success.
Please don't judge me, and I won't judge you. And if you love me, then let it be beautiful. Let it be beautiful.
Brown canceled an appearance at the Grammy Awards that year and saw a number of his lucrative endorsement deals go up in smoke. He would plead guilty to felony assault charges in June and received a deal of 5 years probation, community service, and counseling.
I fell in love with that person. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing that that's the type of person that I fell in love with. So far in love, so unconditional that I went back.
Gary Glitter arrested for possession of inappropriate material. 1970s glam icon Gary Glitter earned himself a deserving fall from grace when it was revealed that he had been in the possession of inappropriate material involving youth.
He had just one critical request. He looked the technician in the eyes and said, "Don't look at my files." Understandable. He is Gary Glitter after all. He's probably got secret songs and copyrighted material on there, but the tech looked anyway. To make sure Gary's computer was fixed, the tech had to open a file to see if it, well, opened. Of all the files he could have clicked on, he picked the one full of child abuse pictures. The tech later described the images as disturbing, but that was an understatement.
Glitter served a short prison sentence, after which he fled the UK and moved between various countries where he continued to engage in unlawful contact with minors. In November 2005, Glitter was arrested in Vietnam for these activities and sentenced to 3 years in prison.
He shared a cell with 18 other foreign inmates. He only avoided hard labor because of his age. Then, Gary suffered a heart attack in January 2008 and spent some time in the prison hospital. Gary's Vietnamese lawyers said the singer planned on returning to England. He also expressed interest in moving to Hong Kong or Singapore. The Philippines got ahead of the curve and banned Gary from entering the country in May 2008. Imagine getting banned from a country you've never even been to. 19 other countries followed suit, including Cuba and Cambodia, his two favorite places.
Following his sentence, he was deported to the UK and added to the sex offenders registry. Since then, he has racked up even more sex crime convictions for previous incidents and has been in and out of prison.
Unless he lives to be 88, he'll likely spend the rest of his life behind bars.
R. Kelly video scandal. In 2002, R&B singer R. Kelly was gearing up to perform at the Winter Olympics. At the same time, news broke in Chicago about a video which allegedly depicted him engaging in improper behavior with an underage girl. Kelly denied the accusations, yet a search of his Florida home turned up more evidence, which furthered a second case against him. His eventual trial was fraught with delays, but the jury ultimately acquitted the singer on all charges in June 2008. Kelly faced several other accusations over the years, but it wasn't until the release of the 2019 docuseries Surviving R. Kelly that serious consequences materialized.
I had to give him an update about everything. Like, if I was about to brush my teeth, I had to let Rob know. If I wanted to take a shower, he had to know. And then when guys came around, I had to put my head down or I had to turn and face a wall.
He was arrested and tried on multiple charges, eventually receiving a combined 31-year prison sentence.
This is a significant outcome for all victims of R. Kelly, and especially for the survivors who so bravely testified about the horrific and sadistic abuse they endured.
The one-time music superstar faced life behind bars after a jury found him guilty in federal court on 1 count of racketeering and 8 counts of sex trafficking. The trial lasting nearly 6 weeks, with close to 50 witnesses testifying against Kelly, more than half of them alleging abuse.
Phil Spector is tried for murder. By all accounts, Phil Spector was a legend of the music industry.
He became a millionaire before the age of 21, and by the 1960s, he had 23 records in the top 50. It was also in the 1960s that he signed the band The Ronettes to his record label. 1/3 of the talented trio Ronnie fell in love with Spector and they later married. However, the honeymoon phase soon faded. Spector quickly became controlling and abusive towards her.
A singer, songwriter, and producer extraordinaire who enjoyed untold success and influence throughout his career. Spector's personal demons and eccentricities caught up to him, however, when he was put on trial in 2007 for the murder of actress Lana Clarkson. The crime had occurred in Spector's California mansion 4 years prior, and it would take 2 more years before a jury would convict the disgraced former icon. Spector was given a sentence of 19 years to life for the crime, during which he claimed that Clarkson had accidentally ended her own life by kissing the gun. In 2021, Spector died in prison from complications due to COVID-19.
His legacy will forever be that of a convicted murderer who happened to write songs.
Following Spector's death, Lana Clarkson's family wrote that she was a warm, compassionate, kind, loving woman who would be 58 years old now.
Michael Jackson accused of sexual misconduct. The life and career of Michael Jackson was filled with some of the highest highs and the lowest lows.
But there's no word whether they found any evidence against Jackson. Jackson has postponed a sold-out show in Bangkok a second time, but his publicist says the singer's Asian tour will go on. Mark Austin has more.
Unfortunately, accusations of improper relations with minors began following the King of Pop, starting with the high-profile Jordan Chandler case in 1993. Jackson proclaimed and maintained his innocence, and even wedded Lisa Marie Presley the following year. However, many saw the marriage as a publicity stunt. Public opinion regarding Jackson's strange behavior with young people never truly went away, especially with a new trial on similar charges arising again in 2005. Up to and since his death on June 25, 2009, the rumors have persisted.
Robson and Safechuck told us about their relationships with Jackson, including very graphic allegations of abuse. A warning here, some of these details are quite disturbing.
Which of your favorite musicians have been the center of a huge controversy?
And that's what it is.
What do you think? Do these controversies make music more powerful or just more problematic? Thanks for watching. I've been Matt for Watch Mojo, and I'll see you next time.